You will never be at peace in life unless you're at peace with yourself. I know this sounds simplistic, but what I found is that many people think, oh, peace is outside of me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to find peace. They think if everything in my life is perfect, then I will finally be at peace. But here is the truth. We have to figure out, how can we settle into peace? And the reason I am so passionate about this topic of peace is because I see a lot of people, especially right now during these precarious times that we're in, who are not at peace. I have people tell me, Colleen, the world is on fire. Colleen, I feel overwhelmed. Colleen, I feel hopeless or helpless. And so I am on a mission to help people feel this sense of peace. I mean, think about a world where political leaders were more at peace. Think about a world where we had CEOs who could spread peace throughout the organizations. Think about a world where parents were feeling more at peace. It would be a drastically different world. Instead, a lot of people are struggling with the amount of change we're experiencing, the amount of noise, the amount of negativity. And so what I would say is that peace is possible no matter what is going on in your life. I really do believe that. And the reason I do is because I meet with people almost every day and I hear their stories and I know that they can change. I know they can reduce the amount of anxiety they experience, the amount of overwhelm, just the amount of input that they're allowing in. For those who are new, welcome. My name is Colleen Canny. I am a career and executive advisor. I'm also a student of meditation for the past 10 years. I've meditated almost every day. I've attended a number of meditation retreats. I share this because I'm very interested in my own internal reality and that of others. I'm very interested to understand what causes people to experience unrest, within their internal being. What causes people to not feel settled in life? And so here are 3 ways where you can connect more with peace, because it really is a process. You're not suddenly going to have an amazing psychedelic experience and you're at peace forever. Maybe if that happened to you, I would love to hear from you. Or you're not going to attend a 10-day silent meditation retreat and all of a sudden you're going to be at peace. Or you're not going to have an amazing yoga class or whatever it may be and be like, oh, I'm at peace. Often it's this lifelong journey of really uncovering more and more of who you are, of befriending the different parts of yourself that you have disowned, understanding what factors, what external events are really impacting you the most. So here is the first thing that you can do to settle into peace, and it is sit with discomfort instead of chasing a fleeting fix. Think about how often we want to grab our phone when we feel this uncomfortable sensation within. We start doom scrolling. We're looking for comfort in our phone, and often all we receive is more discomfort. Or we may want to grab A bottle of wine. So here is the first thing I recommend to help you feel more at peace. Simply sit with discomfort instead of chasing a fleeting fix. And by this, I mean, often when we have these uncomfortable feelings that arise, we immediately want to run from them. We want to numb them. We want to dampen them down. For example, you could be in your home, perfectly safe. Something comes up, whatever it may be. It could be from the past, from the present, and boom, we start scrolling on our phone. We want to feel better. However, as many of us know, including myself, like doom scrolling, it does not help you feel better. Or we may feel uncomfortable and we may turn to drugs or alcohol, or we find ourselves zoning out for hours and hours in front of the TV. And so it's really important to understand what is causing me to feel this discomfort and what am I doing that's often unhealthy to deal with these feelings that I don't want to sit with. An example, a number of years ago, my friend realized at 5 o'clock, almost every night, she was opening a bottle of wine, drinking a half bottle, sometimes the whole bottle. At the time, she had 2 small children. She was trying to start her own business. And she found that her to-do list would grow longer and longer every day. She felt like she was behind. She felt like she wasn't good enough. She found herself being very critical of how she was showing up as a mother, as well as how she was showing up as an entrepreneur. At 5 o'clock, she thought, I cannot handle any more of this pressure. And so the wine helped her feel less overwhelmed. However, over time, she also was starting to feel terrible every morning when she woke up. And there was a wake-up call in the form of a health scare. And she realized she had to deal with whatever was going on with her in a more healthy, sustainable way, because wine sure was not it. My friend decided to start doing yoga between 5 and 6, 5 days a week. She put a do not disturb sign on the door of the basement. And she told her husband and her 2 children, do not interrupt mom while she is doing her yoga, unless the house is burning down or there's some sort of emergency. And what my friend realized is she needed to be more in her body. She needed her time instead of running and racing all over the place. And she needed to give herself more grace. As a mom, as a budding entrepreneur, she was running such critical energy. Many of you can probably relate to this. And so luckily, my friend is no longer drinking the half bottle or a bottle of wine a night. She may socially drink, but she's feeling just so much better overall. And she feels too that she's able to be more present to her children and her husband, as well as her employees in a startup that she founded. And think about, for you, what are those things that you're doing, as I mentioned, to run away from these feelings? It's like, I don't want to deal with them. What are you doing to try to repress or suppress memories you don't want to deal with? And I do recommend working with a professional if that would be beneficial and you have the financial means. I know that everyone does not, to really process things from the past that may be impacting you in the present. The second thing you can do to settle into peace is to become the master DJ of your mind. And the reason I wanted to insert some fun and creativity into this recommendation is because in another life, I would have been a DJ. I started going to the clubs when I was 13. I loved to dance, and I found that music just makes me happy. I feel alive. That's when I'm like envisioning my dream life. And so whether or not being a DJ resonates with you, like on a more serious note, I do think we all have to be more mindful and understand what is the mix that's playing in our mind day in and day out. Is it a positive, uplifting, encouraging mix that will help us pursue our dreams, really be grateful, be our best? Or is the mix playing and it is negative as all hell? It's telling us that we're a loser, we'll never amount to anything, like, oh, you'll never be successful, no one likes you. And what I will say is that the majority of people that I meet with are playing the latter mix. It is astounding what people tell me about their mix. I'm like, are you kidding me? You are so talented. You have been so successful. You're so smart. You're creative. Like, what is going on here? And know that this mix, it could come from a parent who was highly critical. It could come from a partner or a friend who doesn't believe in us and wants to put us down. It can come from a society that is constantly telling us we're not attractive enough, we're not thin enough, we're not fill in the blank enough. Know that you are enough just as you are. It's interesting. The other day I met with a client and she said, my whole identity is gone. Unfortunately, she was laid off, and she said, I had always prided myself on being a talented engineer. And I feel like I'm nothing now without my engineering job. And I told this coaching client, I said, no one took away your education. No one took away your work experience. No one took away your skills. You are still a talented engineer, regardless of where you're working or where you're not working. And as a result of this conversation, the coaching client started to cry because I think she felt validated. She felt seen. She realized that her worth was not tied to a company. And I share this because all of us in our lives will be going through some sort of transition. We will experience adversity. We are going to have to question, like, who am I when suddenly everything can be gone? And so that's why it's really important. First thing when you wake up, listen. Listen to the songs that are playing in your mind and take control. Become that master DJ and figure out, like, hey, I don't like this mix. I'm going to play a new mix that's going to better serve me. The third thing you can do to settle into peace is broaden your perspective. And by this, I mean, often we can have a very narrow view of life and it's skewed negatively. We think, oh, nothing is going right, or this went wrong, or gosh, my dreams will never come true. Like, we focus on everything that's going wrong in our lives. Instead, I do suggest taking a step back and tapping into source, whatever that may be for you. I realize not everyone believes in God. You could focus on connecting to a higher power. Could even think about tapping into your intuition. But the reason this is so important is because I do believe each and every one of us has a divine plan. However, often we're completely disconnected from this divine plan because we're not in tune, we're not present, we're not listening to all of the clues around us about the path that we're meant to be on. We think, oh, well, this door closed. Like, I'll never be successful. When there could be hundreds of other doors that are opening for you and you're not even aware because you're focused again on all the things that are not working out in your life. And I want you to know this, that each and every one of us not only has a divine plan, we have a purpose, but we're also on our own timeline. And I think what can happen is that people are constantly comparing themselves to others, especially in this age of social media. We think, well, he became a CEO by the time he was 40. And I'm years away from becoming a CEO, if that's your dream. Or she became a mom at the age of 30, and here I am, 35, or whatever your age may be, and I'm not a mom yet. Like, I am failing at life. And by the way, these are real world examples that people tell me. And so it's really important, whether or not it's clear to you, your life is unfolding as it should. It's one of my favorite quotes. I probably have shared it in other videos from Max Ehrmann, famous poet, writer, attorney, who passed away in 1945. But I share this quote with myself and others because it's such a reminder. It's like, run your own damn race. You know, yes, you can be ambitious. Yes, you can be driven. You can have big goals. You can have that vision for your life. But you may have a lot to learn still in order for your vision to manifest. Like, enjoy the process of life instead of being fixated on that endpoint. Well, when I achieve this, when this happens, when I accumulate this much wealth, I will be at peace. No, you won't. No, you won't. We have to figure out, how can we be at peace even when life is not perfect? So take a step back and really try to see the bigger picture of your life. What I will say in closing is that, again, we're not going to find peace. Like, it's nowhere out there. There could be places that are more peaceful. There are places that maybe we feel more calm, our nervous system can settle, but we're going to take all our garbage with us wherever we go. Like, we really have to figure out, how can I sit with myself? How can I become the master DJ of my mind? And how can I trust that there is this greater plan for my life that is unfolding, even though I'm like, why is it taking so damn long to unfold? If you are struggling to experience a sense of peace, even though on paper everything looks pretty darn good, even if people think you have this picture perfect life, please feel free to reach out to me. I work with many individuals, often who are high achieving, very successful. They're the envy of their friends and they're still not at peace. I would feel so honored to work with you. If my content resonates with you, please like and subscribe. I want to hear from you. Add a comment about your process of connecting more and more with peace within. Thank you, everyone, for taking time to watch. Until next time.